morning everyone and welcome back at Life&Dive. Today we're heading off with the Beagle. You heard it right, it's the name of Darwin's old boat. To my favorite dive site here at Malapascua together with the Evolution Dive Center. It's that little tiny island at the horizon and it features a whole lot of critters, white-tip reef sharks and hopefully also sawblade, shrimps and pygmy seahorses. I'm really excited and I hope you will enjoy the footage I bring back. So let's go diving.
The tiny island of Gato barely measures the length of a football pitch. Nevertheless, it is divided by an underwater tunnel, possibly one of the reasons why it is so immensely popular among divers. But of course it also means that you have to bring your underwater torch, but that only adds to the adventure. While you can find warty sea slugs and snakes on the cave's bottom, the ceiling is lined with bright yellow tubastria corals. However, when you look up, you should make sure to look in between the corals, as you can find crabs and many other critters there. Towards the middle of the tunnel, it opens to a spacious cave that often harbors white-tip reef sharks. This particular young fella here had the pleasure to dive right in between the group and me and gave the spectacular show. A shark in a discotheque. Unfortunately, even the most beautiful tunnel has its end, which made us leave the tunnel to find a Gorgonian sea fan just outside. Here we were looking for the tiny pygmy seahorses, and thanks to Carlos, we did find this beautiful little specimen that almost resembled a little piggy. But the piggy wasn't really alone, as we could also find this little filefish here which was nibbling on the polyps. Right next, and a little closer back to the island, we found this beautiful harlequin shrimp, squatting on its prey. It even allowed me to take a little close-up, which resembled almost as if it was sharpening its pincers thus to begin the feast. Yet a little further afield, Carlos found what I was hoping to find. Sawblade shrimps. They're extremely well camouflaged and basically try to resemble branches of this black coral bush. Right next door to the shrimps came the first big surprise that nobody would have guessed. A marbled frogfish, which you can nicely identify by its flared nostrils. Really rare. But there's not only frogfish here, but also this nice sea slug here, and if you look from the front, almost looks like a starship. But of course there are also fish, like this puffer one hiding in between soft corals. Just looking for a little bit of food. But of course you can also find fish on the bottom, like this flasher scorpionfish. But just as we found him, the next surprise came charging at me. This freckled frogfish. Possibly, I imagine, he wasn't exactly amused about me disturbing his mating with another freckled frogfish. Charging through the entire reef just to try to scare me off. Eventually, however, he settled down and allowed me a couple of close-ups. You can even see him breathing and see his lure right above his eyes. But he kept on walking in his mouth gaping manner. Eventually he settled down and gave up on me being just so notoriously curious. Eventually also the nicest dive found its end happily on the surface.
Whew. That was Gato. I don't think I've promised too much, rather too little. I'm stunned. I'm I just know again why I love this dive site so much. Hope you like the footage. I've got one more for you, and I think I'll just leave you alone with it. Many of you will definitely know the animal already. It was my first time. Enjoy the show and see you next time.